I misspoke because now we have, but you're reconstituted.
Ms. Sementilli, when we left off, you were going to review your text communications with Monica after the date that Fabio was killed until January to June when Monica was arrested. Did you have an opportunity to do that?
I did my best, yes.
Okay. And as we discussed, there were hundreds of texts between you two?
Yes.
And I had asked you yesterday whether Monica ever sent you in all those hundreds of texts, whether she ever sent you any text where she complained about collecting insurance money or insurance. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And did reviewing those texts between the two of you refresh your recollection as to whether Monica ever sent you any texts like that?
Yes, I found 6 pages.
Okay.
That make reference to financial woes, and as well as I'd like to add that my correspondence with Monica were not just by text. I spent a lot of time there.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Your Honor, I'd object. It's non-responsive.
It is non-responsive. Sustained.
Thank you. If we could move to just have stricken. Thank you.
Starting with, if I may add, is stricken.
Thank you. Ms. Sementilli, when you say there were 6 texts, what
6 pages.
6 pages. What you're referring to are is a text string where you initiated a text to Monica on May 24th, asking her if she'd be okay with Marco, your common law husband, writing a letter for her to send. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you initiated that text on May 24th, correct?
In response to our discussions.
Okay. But you weren't responding to any text discussions, correct?
That's not the only means of communication I had with Monica.
Okay. But you sent Monica a text on May 24th, did you not, where you said that if you're okay with this, referring to Marco, he's going to have his lawyer draft a letter regarding the fact that you are under financial duress. And then he's going to email it to you, and then you own it, at which point you send it to the insurance company and to the police captain department. Put them on notice, and then you'll see what happens. You wrote that text, correct?
I wrote that text.
Okay. Your Honor, if we may mark as Exhibit 608, a 3-page text string between Morella at 4165 and Monica at 818-424. And you initiated that text on May 24th, correct?
Yes.
At 8:12 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. And then you followed that text with another text on page 2 of Exhibit 608, where you told Monica, Marco said, don't waste your breath anymore. Send everything in an email. Create a paper trail. Did you write that to her?
Yes, in response to her financial woes.
And she responded, LOL, just got detective and captain email address today. I said I forget and get confused, and I want all info through email. I told him we were going to be homeless, and he said a few more weeks. But yes, please send me anything I can use. She said that to you, correct?
Correct, and this is the conversation with her financial woes.
I'm sorry. I just asked you if
I'd like to answer the question.
well, my question was, did she send that to you?
Yes.
Thank you. And you then sent her the following text. Okay, send him information such as insurance information, any names you might have at the insurance company, phone numbers or address, detective's name, precinct, or address of police station, phone number and names, and of course all their addresses via email to marco@rosewatergroup.com. If it's faster, you could take pictures of letter heads and send pic to 416-918. Wants to help you with this. You sent that text, correct?
Yes.
And Monica responds on page 3 of 608, okay, I'll send what info I have tomorrow, but I want to see it before it is sent to anyone. Did she tell you that in the text?
In a text message, yes.
Okay. And then you responded to her, Ms. Sementilli, at 8:39. As I said in the first email, he is going to email you the letter. We need the info to properly compose the letter, but we are not sending it to anyone. He wants to send you an effectively written letter that you will have to own it from you to them. You said that, correct?
Correct.
And Monica had sent you other text messages throughout this same period, updating you and telling you about her frustrations with the investigation having to do with finding the killers, correct?
Correct.
And she communicated those conversations through text as well, correct?
Not specifically finding the killers, giving her information. She was looking for information.
Information about the investigation?
Exactly.
Okay. And information about what the progress had been on solving the case.
And what was holding up the letter?
She texted you about something about holding up a letter?
Yes, the letter releasing her as a suspect.
And where was that text? You have that text?
Not in those exact words, but
Okay.
there is a text where she said she's going to start from the detective Parshall all the way up to the mayor
Okay.
to get answers.
But that's about solving the case, correct?
No, that's about getting answers.
Okay. Your Honor, if we may mark as Exhibit 609, a one-page text from cellulite extraction dated 5/16/217. And showing you these texts. Ms. Sementilli, am I correct that Monica sent you a text on 5/16/17 at 2:03, letting you know that detectives from Knock Knock Burglary Task Force coming to see me Thursday at 11 a.m.? exclamation point. They may have some pics and also maps to show me other homes hid in the area and what routes Fabio takes home usually. Did she send you that text?
Yes.
And did she follow that with a text that same day at 1:48 telling you, I was so angry Monday morning on phone with detective, told him I'm coming to station with a news crew if I have to, and work my way up the chain. His captain, captain's boss, all the way to the mayor if I have to. This is fucking ridiculous. No answers. His captain called me and said they will be there Thursday but can't discuss investigation. They say they will solve this, but don't give me anything. Did she tell you that?
Yes.
And that's nothing about getting any letter, correct?
As I said, our communication was in many forms, not just text messaging.
Ms. Sementilli, you testified earlier about Monica being late for an appointment one day because she was at a car dealership buying a brand new Fiat, I believe you testified, and saying that she'd gotten a great deal. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. But you were aware at that time, were you not, that your niece Bella had been in a traffic accident where she had totaled her Fiat? Were you not?
Yes.
Okay. And this was in May of 2017, correct?
Yes.
And you were aware that the car was insured and that they were replacing the Fiat, correct?
I wasn't sure who was replacing it. All I knew is that she went and got her a new car.
Okay. But you were aware she wasn't buying a new car, the insurance company, she was replacing Bella's Fiat with a replacement Fiat, correct?
I didn't know the details.
Ms. Sementilli, you also testified about this situation with Fabio's ashes in Canada in a family crypt. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And I think you said Fabio would have wanted to be buried in Canada, would wanted to be up there, correct?
I think he always wanted to come home alive, but I'm not sure about buried. I
Okay.
never talked about it with him.
I thought you testified that he would have wanted to be home.
He wanted to be coming home, yes.
Okay. And you had earlier testified there was this situation where you were present when Luigi and Jessica and Bella consented to having him cremated, correct?
Correct.
And now, Monica never cremated him in Los Angeles, correct?
Correct.
In fact, there was a full autopsy of Fabio after he died, correct?
Sustained.
Were you aware that there had been an autopsy of Fabio?
Sustained.
Was it your understanding that Fabio had been autopsied?
Sustained.
Ms. Sementilli, Monica brought Fabio's body back to Canada, correct?
Yes.
And there were services for him up there. There was a viewing before he was cremated, correct?
Yes.
And then he was cremated, and you all, you visited the crypt where he was kept?
All the time.
Yes. And Monica visited the cemetery as well?
Not that I know of.
You weren't with her when you visited the remains with him?
When we laid his remains, she was there.
And am I correct that you have never requested that his remains at any time be moved, correct?
I can't do that.
You can't request it?
No. I'm not the signee or the next of kin, and it's her name, and unless she makes that change, he will be there permanently.
Have you ever made any effort to contact Jessica or Bella, his daughters, his next of kin, about moving his body?
I will eventually, yes.
You
After
will
the trial,
eventually?
yes.
Okay. But you were aware that only 4.5 months after Fabio was killed, Monica was arrested, correct?
Yes.
And she hasn't been in Canada for 7.5 years, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you have remained close with your nieces, Bella and Jessica?
No.
You have come down and visited them?
No.
Is there any reason not?
It breaks my heart to have to say this, but they were very disrespectful. They were unfortunately asked to not communicate with us with regards to anything about my brother.
Objection calls for hearsay speculation.
Sustain on the second ground.
I had asked for some property of my brother's for my mom. My mom was asking about some things she wanted that she didn't have anything to remember her son by. And they replied to me so many rude times, saying that it belongs to their mother and that not sending anything to my mother. And I tried to reach out. There was just so many times where they never replied to me. They didn't welcome me. I came to pre-trials. They didn't want to see me. And their mother, their grandmother and aunt were there all the time, right after the arrest. So I had a very hard time getting through or getting to visit them.
When did you ever reach out and try to see them when you were down here?
Early part of the arrest.
And did you do that by phone or email or text?
Probably text or phone, yes, or through their aunt, or through Deborah Obad.
And
I tried everything I could in my power before I got the message that they don't want to see me.
And you have those messages?
No, I probably don't have them. They might have erased it, so I don't have stuff like that.
Well, they couldn't erase messages from your phone, correct?
I don't have the messages.
Okay. And isn't it a fact, Ms. Sementilli, that you have sent derogatory and inappropriate texts repeatedly to both Jess and Bella about their mother?
It is.
Let me be specific. Isn't it true, Ms. Sementilli, that you sent Jessica Sementilli a text where you referred to her as a bitch and a cunt?
No.
No further questions.
Redirect.
When you tried to help the defendant by having Marco write a letter for her to use if she wished. At that
Argument?
I don't know.
when you sent, when you agreed to assist the defendant by having Marco draft a letter for her to use.
This states the evidence.
Again, counsel, I will hear the entire question.
As she wished, did you have any idea at that time that she had been having an affair with Robert Baker?
No.
Would it be fair to say that you were fooled by the defendant?
Objection, relevant argument.
Sustained.
You also talked, you were asked yesterday about the defendant's family initially not liking Fabio at the beginning. Would it be fair to say that they certainly wouldn't approve of Robert Baker?
Yes.
Objection, argument, speculation.
Untimely.
Had you and Antonio Quinteri met with Fabio on many prior occasions prior to that last time that you came to Los Angeles?
Yes, correct.
You were asked about whether or not the defendant wanted to move, and you said eventually she did want to move, but not at the beginning. When the defendant eventually told you that she wanted to move and you went looking at a house with her, did she tell you why she wanted to move at that point in time?
Objection, relevant.
So ruled.
She wanted to move because she was looking for a smaller home that was less money.
Did she ever ask you to look with her at homes back in the Toronto area?
No, never.
When you went through the hundreds of text messages that defense counsel asked you to look at, did you find text messages regarding the defendant's meetings that she had with estate lawyers that she texted you about?
Objection, relevance.
So ruled.
Yes.
And did she also send you text messages about how much paperwork she had to fill out in order to collect the life insurance?
Objection, this states the evidence.
So ruled.
Yes, it was on the text messages.
The text messages where yesterday it was represented that none of them had anything to do with money, correct?
Correct, yeah.
You know, on the first page, and again, we don't know what came before this. I don't know if it was a conversation or another text. Is this a message from Monica asking you to send her contact information for someone?
Yes.
Do you recall who that was for?
What date was that?
This date is 5/24.
It may have been the Canadian Hairdresser magazine.
Coordinator?
Yes,
For the award
yes,
ceremony?
yes.
And with respect to the text message that was pointed out to you by defense counsel from you to the defendant, where you said, and then you own it. What does that mean?
Every time we had a discussion, I just wanted to tell her that Marco would help draft it, and then she would own it, meaning she could do with it whatever she wanted to before she sent it off.
Okay. In other words, she could make edits.
Yes,
She could send it. She could not send it.
exactly.
Objection, reading.
I will allow it.
And this is with respect to your telling her that she can send it to the insurance company, to the police department, in order to put them on notice and see what happens.
Correct, because she was always telling us constantly that it was a problem for her.
It
That-
Excuse me, sustain.
And was this in response to statements made by the defendant where she was telling you that she was having a problem obtaining the life insurance proceeds because law enforcement hadn't cleared her?
Correct.
And on the following page, there's a 114 at the bottom of the page. Does this appear to be a text from Monica to you?
Yes.
LOL, what does that mean?
Laugh out loud.
Just got detective and captain email address today. I said I forget and get confused. And I want all info through email.
Objection, this has been asked and answered.
Not on cross, counsel.
It's the same email. It was introduced.
I'm gonna allow this.
And here, did she indicate to you that basically she's lying to law enforcement and telling
Objection,
them
argument.
I don't know. I'll take that
she
information.
forgot and gets confused, and that's why she wants it all sent through her email?
Go rule.
Correct.
And then, just as you stated earlier, the defendant says, I told him we're going to be homeless.
Yes, she told us that many times.
And then in the last line, she says, yes, please send me anything I can use, correct?
Correct.
And then on the last page where the bottom says 115, after you sent the whatever text you had back and forth, is this a text message from the defendant to you?
Correct.
That will be a big help. I will text him pictures of the information. Thank you.
Yes.
So in other words, she's going to send pictures of the information that you and she discussed so that Marco could assist her in drafting a letter.
Correct.
Please don't make comments. And then on Exhibit 609, once again, is this a message from the defendant to you, detectives from Knock Knock Burglary Task Force, coming to see me Thursday at 11 a.m. exclamation point?
Yes.
They might have some pics and maps
Yes.
to show me other homes in the area and what routes Fabio takes home usually.
Yes, she did.
And beneath that, did she tell you, is this an email or a text message from her to you on, looks like, I think it's May 15th.
I see 16.
May 16th.
Yes.
I was so angry Monday morning on phone with detective, told him I'm coming into station with a news crew if I have to.
Yes.
And she's talking about how the detectives won't provide her information regarding what evidence they have, and that, in her words, it's fucking ridiculous.
Correct.
Objection, Ms. Stacey Owens.
Sure.
Text
It says it right here. This is fucking ridiculous, correct?
Correct.
what she's referring to, Your Honor.
So rule.
And that they can't discuss the investigation. Correct?
Yes.
So, you, at this point in time, were trying to assist your sister-in-law and your nieces in obtaining Fabio's life insurance money.
Correct.
And you believed at that point in time her stories that she might wind up being homeless.
Objection, speculation, argument,
It goes to her state of mind on why she's assisting.
irrelevant.
To stand on those grounds.
You agreed to assist her because you believed her stories. Is that correct?
Same objection, Your Honor.
No, I'm gonna allow that.
Correct.
And in terms of who brought Fabio's back to Canada, that was something Wella did, correct?
Correct.
I have nothing further.
Anything on recross?
Yes, thank you. Showing you what will be marked as defense.
I'm sorry, nothing will be
I'm
marked.
sorry, Your Honor. May I mark, if the court pleases, Defense Exhibit 610, which is a text sent on February 13, 2017, from Monica to Morella.
Yes.
Ma'am, you testified earlier that I believe Monica had previously referenced filling out paperwork to specifically paperwork to collect insurance proceeds. Did you say that?
Paperwork. Just
Well, Ms. Silverman specifically said in order to get insurance, about insurance proceeds, correct?
Can you elaborate on that question? When did I say that and where?
Just a few minutes ago, Ms. Silverman talked to you about previous texts that referenced paperwork specifically related to insurance money.
Discussions, not texts.
Okay.
She had discussions and many means of communication with me.
Okay, so this is a text
Just a moment.
that is the only reference to paperwork between you two.
Counsel's testifying.
That last part is testifying.
Okay, this is a text between you and Monica about paperwork, correct?
Correct.
And this text says, thank you, don't know dates for New York yet. Bella will work on that to see when orientations are. Anna is here till Sunday. Now, the first part of the text, Monica's talking to you about coming to New York for your daughter's graduation from medical school, correct? And she, in fact, did come to New York for your daughter's graduation from medical school, correct?
She did, yes.
And the text goes on, I'm meeting with the estate lawyer Thursday, and from there I should know when I'm coming back, probably week after, for a few days. So no need to come here till after I get back, anytime you like or can. That's about you coming back to visit at some time later?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And she says, so much paperwork. Still feels like he's just away for work. Love you guys, bound forever, correct?
Yes.
There's nowhere in that text where she talks about paperwork for life insurance proceeds, correct?
Not specifically, no.
And finally, Ms. Silverman pointed out one of Monica's texts to you about her frustrations with the investigation. Do you recall that?
Council record, you have what on the projector?
609?
Thank you.
Yes.
But am I right, she's talking to you about the criminal investigation, correct?
In this text message, yes.
And nowhere in there is she talking about any letter for life insurance, correct?
Not in this text message.
And in fact, she tells you in this text message that the detectives are representing to her that they are going to solve the case.
Yes.
And not a word about life insurance, correct?
Not in this text message.
Nothing.
Anyone further?
Yes.
Just prior to the portion you were shown on 610, on February 13th, 12:45 p.m., is this a message that you sent to Monica?
Yes, it is.
And in this message, you're basically telling her, "Hi, honey, please know we love you, wish we could be with you and the girls. Let me know if you want company, and you can come from Saturday to Wednesday to visit."
Correct.
And also telling her about the graduation in New York for Vanessa's medical school.
Correct. It was a date error. It's June 10, sorry, not January 10.
I'm referring, to
No.
the date of the message, which is February 13th
Correct.
of 2017.
Correct.
That comes right before the defendant's response on that same date, correct?
Yes, I was making reference to the body of the text message. I had my daughter's
Yes.
convocation date wrong. That's all. I just
Oh.
yeah. It was June 10.
Right, that happened the week before the defendant came to Toronto for the Mirror Awards,
It was the same weekend.
the Lifetime Achievement Awards.
Yes.
And when the defendant made mention of in 609, with respect to her conversations with the detectives, had the defendant told you and Marco on numerous occasions that in order to receive the life insurance, law enforcement first had to clear her
Correct.
and send a letter?
Allow us.
Yes, correct.
So therefore, their criminal investigation was inextricably linked to her being able to get the letter for clearance, correct?
Sustained on the
Didn't the
first ground.
defendant tell you that they had to clear her
Yes.
in their investigation in order for her to be able to receive money?
Correct, yes.
And when she talked about the estate lawyer, that again was her talking about acquiring money from Fabio's.
Sustained.
When she talked about the estate lawyer, did that have to do, according to her conversations with you, about acquiring money from Fabio's estate?
Speculation.
Sustained.
Did the defendant tell you that that's what the estate lawyer was for, to acquire money from Fabio's estate?
Yes, as well as she had mentioned she was going to go to a state lawyer to make sure that Willa wasn't screwing her. So
On
I'm
money.
figuring it was about money all the time, yes.
I have nothing.
Anything further?
Ms. Sementilli, you understood that estate lawyers were involved because Fabio didn't have a will and his estate was in probate, correct?
No, I had no idea.
Ms. Sementilli, you communicated frequently with Luigi and the estate lawyers representing the estate throughout the summer of 2017, correct?
Luigi didn't explain a lot to us. We had no idea about the estate lawyer Luigi had. Is that what you're referring to?
No, the lawyers that were representing the estate.
No, I have no
by the
idea
court.
what happened there.
You have no idea that there were estate lawyers representing the estate in probate.
Objection to
Correct.
facts and records.
Sustained.
Isn't it true, Ms. Sementilli, that you communicated frequently about the estate, Fabio's estate, and lawyers being involved because the estate was in probate?
Objection vague.
Overruled.
No.
Isn't it also a fact, Ms. Sementilli, that you communicated frequently with Luigi about filing a lawsuit against Monica for money?
Well, I'm going to object that it seems facts not in evidence.
So
It's
overruled.
also irrelevant and calls for hearsay.
Overruled on all grounds.
Can you repeat the question?
Isn't it a fact, Ms. Sementilli, that you communicated with Luigi Sementilli about wanting to file a lawsuit for money against Monica Sementilli?
I had discussions with Luigi because this is what he wanted to do.
Nothing.
Anything further by the people?
Was that for a wrongful death lawsuit?
Correct, yes.
Nothing further.
Anything further?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sementilli. You are excused. You may call the next witness.
Call Abdul Shan Khan.